He goes, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Flash season 9, where I think Barry could end up at the end of the show, or on some level at the end of the show. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, let's go for new, notifications on, let's get right into the discussion about the Flash final season. So, I had a whole nother video planned for the night, but frankly, all it does is add more content for you guys, so I'm doing this video now. And I have a season 9 news video I'm doing tomorrow night unless things change. But as of right now, this is what we're doing. I've been thinking about this all day. And I want to do a video on it. Because I said a lot of my opinions that I don't think Barry will die in season 9. Because it just wouldn't add up. But the more and more that I think about it, especially today, I was rewatching some Arrow scenes and Crisis stuff and season 8, most season 8, I kind of started thinking it would make sense if Barry did die in season 9. What would that do? I don't know. It would probably cause Bart not to be born, and all that. But that would lead to Oliver coming back, bringing Barry back to life, so that the timeline can continue going on and not being screwed over. I could see that being a case, but somehow, some way, if Barry dies in this season, I can't see them writing him off the show. What I would see happening is them doing what they did with Iris in 819 and 820, which is killing her off and then bringing her back, or quote-unquote killing her off. We all believe she was dead, and a lot of us, including myself, hoped she was dead, but she wasn't. So a lot of us are disappointed in that one. But my point is the fact that they can always do a sort of double, triple, whatever cross to make everyone believe, like, okay, this is what we are dealing with here. And, he's actually not dead, or Oliver brings him back as Spectre, using Spectre powers, bringing Barry back. I don't know. I don't think that if they go down the route of Barry dying, that it would be through him going back to the night it all began and all that. That should not happen. That storyline is done and doneer. That storyline should never be brought back to the show, period. If they really want to connect Barry vanishing to Barry, past Barry becoming the Flash, the same lightning bolt, connect that to 90s Flash that died in Crisis, that literally turned into Speed Force energy, that very well could have connected to Barry becoming the Flash. They can do that. I'm pretty sure they already did, if it's not already connected. I mean, there's so many other levels they can do to connect all this. Now, the Barry Allen that went back to that night, if our Barry goes back to that night, it'll just be like, what, another 5th version of Barry there? Because you had the one from 122, or 23, sorry, that showed up. You have the one from Flashpoint era that showed up. You have the one that was already there to begin with, young Barry, and now you have our Barry. There's a reason Barry does not go back there. Now, for whatever reason, Thawne, of all people, decides to be an idiot and decides to go back in time to kill young Barry. He'd interact with himself and Barry. Young Barry, older Barry, and younger Barry. Like, that just doesn't make sense. And Thawne would not do that again. Even if he is alive. Even if he does come back. There'd be no reason for Thawne to travel back in time, kill young Barry again, and change the entire timeline again. Barry already beat that. Thawne is not stupid enough to do something he's already done and just repeat it. Like, they've clearly crossed that line that Thawne is not that stupid. He will figure out ways to kill Barry and to get back at him, but he's not going to repeat the same thing twice. Barry won't fall for it again. And he definitely won't, if he does happen to fall for it again, there'll be ways to change the timeline back before he even dies and before the timeline catches up to him. So there's no possible way that can actually fully work out like it did in Armageddon, because it's a one and done thing. They can't do that storyline again without repeating the whole reverse Flashpoint, which we know can't really happen again because Thawne's timeline would just be blown to hell alongside Barry's, Even though that would probably be what Thawne wants, it just would not add up to what the story would need. We would need a villain like Despero, and frankly, we know the first villain of season 9 is a repeat villain that haven't gotten since the first Arrowverse crossover. So, well, it's new villain, but it's from the first Arrowverse crossover. But my point is that what we are dealing with is the inevitable conclusion that it just would not add up for young Barry to die, or for Barry to die going back to that night and him becoming a lightning bolt strike in the past version of Barry, 2013, the lightning bolt strike Barry Allen. That makes no sense. It does not add up with what we know. Now, how could Barry die in season 9? I don't know. It could be 100,000 different things that could happen to Barry. We know, hopefully, that this season will keep Barry's speed up and not just drop it the second something happens like 816 did. Just the entire season 8, we had Barry running faster than we've ever seen him run on this damn show before, besides 415 when he's out running a nuke. Even then, you could argue it's going faster than that when he's charging up all that lightning, when he was stopping the Royal Flush Gang, when he stopped 3 crimes in under a second. I mean, good lord, we saw him do so many things with his powers in season 8 that I hope continues season 9. But then we see set photos that Iris and Barry are in the field together for 0 reason for Iris to be there, when it could just be Barry stopping the guy and that's it. There's probably a story there. But season 9, I hope it's a good season. And I hope it's not some condescending BS repeat season 4. What season 9 needs to be is a full-on, just Barry-centric season. We have 13 episodes. 13. We don't have, they can do 2 storylines. I've brought that up several times. They can do some fillers, not many, and frankly, they shouldn't even be fillers. It should be, side stories and that to wrap up things. But this season needs to continue what Eric Wallace said in season 8, which was a Barry that is overpowered as hell. That is what we need, and we need villains that Barry cannot stop on his own, that he would need help from other superheroes, not his own wife that has 0 powers. Like, come on. Like, this is stupid. I love The Flash. I always will. The show's been a part of me for better half of 7 to 8 years. Like, I'm going to judge it, but I'm not going to hate on it that much. But we went from Barry fighting an alien to a demigod to Thawne twice with godlike powers, and now we're going to a guy who throws boomerangs and Barry needs help. Which, may I remind you, he stopped the Royal Flush Gang again in under a millisecond without even anything moving around him. And this is in the premiere of season 8. In the season 9 premiere, we get Barry, about to be knocked out or something, according to set photos, and then Captain Boomerang shows up and Barry needs help. That's what the premiere is. Barry needs help stopping Captain Boomerang. Literally, that's what the premiere is. From what we've seen, because he's the big bad of that episode, you can't tell me he's a big bad for more than one episode. That's going to be bullcrap. If they want season 9 to be good, make Barry hella OP again. Don't drag him down. If they're going to do that, season 8 should have been the last season. Straight up. I will say that in my premiere review. If they don't make Barry the number 1 centric in that premiere, I don't care about the rest of the season, but that premiere needs to keep what we got in season 8, which is Barry being the fastest we've ever gotten him being. If they don't do it in season 9 premiere, I am going to go on a full-on freaking 24-hour rant. Not only 24 hours. Maybe 24 minutes. But it'll definitely be a rant. And I'm definitely going to be pissed off. Because there's 0 reason for Barry to need help stopping a guy with those boomerangs. I don't care if he has superpowers. He probably doesn't. Because he never did in the comics. So for whatever reason, if Barry needs Iris' help to stop a guy with those boomerangs, why are we watching the show? We went past 7 full crappy years of the show where Barry needed help to stop a person who had 0 speedster powers. And we go to season 8, pretty much 90% of the time, people without powers, Barry stopped. Unless he got distracted. right? Let's not talk about 816. When I'm talking about 814 with Frost's death, Barry and Team Flash were all distracted. And they didn't stop the meta right away. Barry straight up said he could have stopped the meta right away if they wanted to, but they were all distracted with Frost's death because it was like 24 or so hours ago. Like, yeah, they're going to be distracted. That worked for the writing. In 802, when Barry was stopping whatever her name was, the telekinesis meta, yeah, he stopped, but the meta even brought up, if you guys pay attention to that scene, which was hated on so much, the meta said that she dug into Barry's mind long before he even got there. So even if he didn't stop, he would have been knocked off guard and would have had to do that entire scene. It wouldn't matter that he stopped. It wouldn't have. Would it have changed things? Yeah, but it wouldn't have mattered either way. Period. It wouldn't have. And no, it wouldn't have been a speed issue, because some people complain about that. But look, my hope for season 9 is that we don't see Barry dying. But if they're going to go down the route of Barry's weak and pathetic, like he was in season 1 through 7, because let's be real, he was. Whether you want to admit it or not, he was. He couldn't stop the vote throughout 23 episodes. Then again, that's because of Todd helping. When Eric Wallace came in, remember, we took down Butterwork in like 2 episodes. From the point in time that he learned he was Butterwork, it was like 2 episodes. We dealt with Ava, which actually made sense if you really think back about it. I mean, it got screwed over because of COVID. Whether you want to admit it or not, it did. But the matter of fact is that the season got screwed over because of COVID. If they didn't get screwed over, Ava would have been a pretty damn good villain for Barry losing his speed, right? And it made sense why he's losing his speed. It wasn't some kind of stunning BS. The Speed Force is dying because something that Barry did in Crisis with the Spectre. That makes sense. The Forces storyline, it's just Nate. We proved, Eric Wallace proved that storyline could have been good if it wasn't for COVID. But they put that in there, they changed it all up for COVID precautions. Godspeed arc was not that good, but it also wasn't that bad. It was a lot better than the Force storyline. Armageddon, the Deathstorm arc, the Isol Negative arc, the last arc is season 8. All those 3 arcs, for me, triumph anything we've ever gotten in this show. Especially the last arc. I mean, good lord. Now we're going to season 9 with what it looks like just in the premiere alone, that Barry is going to need all hands on deck to stop a guy who throws boomerangs. Like, if that's the season we're getting for the final season of the damn show, I wouldn't be surprised if he does die. He's probably died as some stupid villain that has 0 powers whatsoever, probably gets shot in the neck and dies. I don't know. I mean, he only got shot in season 1. He now ran a bullet, but he didn't rewind the sound. Do you remember that? I rewatched that scene and I nearly threw up. Like, it was disgusting. It was amazing to know that this show has evolved into something that I can actually watch now and not just like, what the hell is happening with Barry's speed? But then I see the Civil War 901, it's like, why are we doing this? But again, at least the point in hand, if they're really going to make Barry weaker than he's ever been before on the show, just with amped up speed, not thinking clearly, not caring, not being confident, like he was just Nate, I mean, he's gonna die then. Like, Barry has been lucky at every possible turn that he's possibly could have died at. Like, in season 2, when he got his speed back, we all thought he died, but he came back. In Crisis, I mean, good lord, they set up that Crisis for 6 years, and they straight up said, no, ours time to end Arrow, and that's how they're doing it. Did it work out? Yeah. Well, the first part did. The other 4 parts were horrible as hell. But my point is that Barry got lucky every single time he faced death. Not like Iris with the bullcrap time stone they brought up. But Barry has cheated death more than Oliver ever has at this point. With all the villains Barry's faced are way more powerful than Oliver's villains. I mean, when you really look at it, Thawne has nearly killed Barry like 3,000 times by now. Okay? If he does come back more powerful than ever, he probably would kill Barry. If, they're going to make him weak as hell. I don't know. I hope season 9 is good. I really, truly do. And yes, I know. Was Iris even in the field last season with Barry? I think it was just Barry, wasn't it? Like 90% of the time? I'm pretty sure it was. Was she in the field ever? I don't think she was. But for me, seeing Iris and Barry in the field trying to take down the guy with those boomerangs, that's not looking good for me for a season premiere. I understand later in the season it was a big deal, fine. But when you have Cecile, yeah, I know we don't want Cecile, but deal with it. When she has powers, when Allegra is there and has powers, unless they're short-handed, and Allegra, Cecile, Chester, no one is there, and Barry absolutely can't go into flash time, put the guy in Medicuss, run him back to a prison, unless you really need to bring Iris in, because so all the West stands will shut the hell up, which you know why Eric Wallace is doing that, because the Iris won't shut up. They have to complain over every 5 seconds Iris isn't in a scene. Or it's Barry not bringing up Iris about the time sickness, which he did pretty damn often, but no one paid attention to it. Like, this is the hypocrisy that the show is going into, is thinking itself a whole. For a hardcore Flash fans, people actually love the Flash, like the superhero. We got, at least for major Flash fans like myself, we got what we wanted season 8. They could have ended the show in season 8, and I would have been perfectly happy with it. As long as it got a good ending, which it would have. It really would have. But now we're stuck with Barry going back to season 4 Barry, with him needing Iris' help, because they are the Flash, right? Even though Barry's the one that has powers, wears a suit, wears a mask, and the one who knows how to use his powers in the field. So, and look, this is not me digging at Iris, because I know someone will say that, undoubtedly. But there's no reason for Iris to be in the field. There's no reason for Barry to need help. Barry can do it all on his own, but he won't. Probably because Iris pushes him to. Who knows? But this is blatantly ridiculous for a premiere if that's how they're going to take it. They're for real going to take the premiere as a, quote, let's take Barry and make him dull again. Yeah, he'll probably die in season 9. You know what they'll probably do to kill him off? They'll probably set up the fact that he's weaker in season 9 for whatever stupid reason, and then just lead to his death. Like, that would probably be how it plays out, because you can't kill an overpowered god, right? Even though we had villains that nearly did kill him, like Thawne or Deathstorm or Despero. But those villains were hella overpowered like crazy, and whether you want to admit it or not, they fit his name. Like, they fit Barry being overpowered. They were overpowered. Barry couldn't even touch Deathstorm. You know, if Deathstorm wanted to kill Barry, he could have. He just didn't. You know, there's no grief for Deathstorm to really go after till later in the story arc. I mean, Thawne obviously wants to kill Barry all the time, and Despero, he could have killed Barry a lot sooner if he really wanted to. So that's my point. If they're going to make Barry weaker, they don't have any stronger villains to bring in, which, what about the villain in the freaking, whatever it was, the Earth Prime comics that was set up? Bloodwork, which is supposed to be overpowered as heck right now, or Spectre coming back. Why not do that? Why bring in a villain that Barry gets up in Flash time, just drag that out? That's not the show that this show's evolved into in season 8. So how do we go from Barry being overpowered to Barry being weak as hell? That makes no sense. And I said this earlier, I'm going to repeat it again. It's the 901, the season 9 premiere. If it does not live up to A, my hopes and hypes for it, and B, the season 8 premiere, I am going on a full-on freaking rant, because the show is called The Flash, Barry Allen is The Flash, and we have seen him. Eric Wallace proved that he knows The Flash, right? More than he ever did throughout season 6, 7, and frankly, probably now. He proved that. But if we're going to go back to Barry being weak as hell, unconfident, zero care about what's going on around him, this show's going down the toilet, and I really hope to God that if they're going to do that, this show, I'll be glad it's ending. I think it should have ended season 8 if they're really going to go down that route. But if they're going to really go down the route of Barry's weaker just to get a storyline in, just quit. Like, I will gladly quit season 9. I will quit halfway through if they're going to go back To season 1, season 2, season 3, 4, 5, season 7 type era of where Barry is just weak as hell and not confident. That is not the Barry Allen I've wanted for 8 years. That's not the Barry Allen no one wants besides Iris stands, because if we get a confident Barry, Iris is there because Barry needs help and it's always Iris, right? God. I don't think Eric Waltz is that stupid to make Barry that pathetic again. But what do I know? I don't know. I saw those stuff photos on Instagram, wanted to do a video and go on a rant, but I decided not to because I didn't feel like uploading that night. But, and I'm going to talk about more in tomorrow's video. I probably won't go on a full-on rant. Who knows, maybe I will. But it is scary to know that this season 9, the last season of the show, could just put the show down the toilet by making Barry so pathetic and weak again that season 8 is going down the toilet too, because like, why do you do that season? If you need a level up theme to keep the show going, turn season 9 into a freaking level up theme. Like, God, I will miss that theme. Like, the level up theme, whether you like it or not, it saved the damn show. Like, season 9 kind of needs that theme to keep the show going, right? Bring it back. You know, screw Cecile, whatever. That she's probably gonna have a lot of scenes, I wouldn't be surprised. But the show is called The Flash. And they proved in season 8, we don't need Iris. You know, we don't need Iris in every single episode. Candace does not care, whether you want to admit it or not, she doesn't. Okay, she quit caring years ago. That you can see that on screen. Whether you want to admit it or not, it's up to you. But the matter of fact is, the show stars Grant. Grant is Barry Allen. Grant is the Flash, period. There's absolutely zero reason for Iris or anyone else to be on that scene besides Barry, unless it's Allegra or Cecile with Barry trying to teach them how to stop a villain with little and no powers. That's where they come in. Not Iris with a gun that she can easily shoot Captain Boomerang with to take him down, or Barry going to Flash time and stop him, but they won't do that because there has to be a story there, and there has to be a reason for it to happen, and there has to be a way to get Barry stuck. Do I know the show, or do I know the show? I think I know the show. God. But yeah, season 9 is going to be interesting. I know they're filming 902 right now. If Captain Boomerang's in it, I'm going on a rant. If Captain Boomerang is in 902, which means he got away from Barry in 901 to premiere, I am going on a rant. And I will gladly do a 30-minute rant. I'm just saying right now. I do not want to see Captain Boomerang in any set photos with 902. Like, he should not be there, because he should be stopped. Like, period. He should have been stopped in 901, but, you know. Who knows with Barry and Iris. So, who knows. But, yeah, that's all I want to talk about in the video. Thank you guys for watching the video. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.